registered professional with ICS data. In this video, we're going to cover internal security policies and procedures for handling Controlled Unclassified Information, or CUI. This is a critical part of maintaining compliance and protecting sensitive government data. Each organization has its own internal policies tailored to its operations. It's important to thoroughly review and follow your company's procedures for the secure handling, storage, and transmission of CUI. While your organization's specific technical controls may vary, we will cover some best practice for technical controls commonly used for CMMC compliance in a Microsoft GCC High environment, and that you're likely to have in place for handling, storing, and transmitting CUI. CUI must be limited to controlled environments. That means access should only be available to authorized individuals. You should never read, discuss, or leave CUI unattended in areas where unauthorized personnel are present. To access your system, multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is required for Windows login. Each time you sign in, you'll see a security banner reminding you that you're accessing a restricted system, one that's limited to supporting Department of Defense contracts. Let's review some technical controls that your organization is likely to have implemented for CUI access and handling. All devices that connect to the CUI wireless network must first receive approval. If your device is left idle, your session will automatically time out. After a specified number of minutes of inactivity, you'll be logged out and required to re-enter your credentials and authenticate your login. To maintain compliance, users are not allowed to install software on their own. All installations must be approved by your compliance officer. Finally, remote desktop access and other system settings may be locked or restricted to ensure compliance with security policies. The location of all CUI within your organization must be documented and controlled. Physical CUI must be stored in designated locked containers, desks, or cabinets. Digital CUI must be protected in a similar fashion, locked to only allow access to those with proper authorization. This is typically done using encryption that meets the FIPS 140-2 standard, or by using an encrypted enclave that creates a secure environment for working with CUI. Your organization will implement technical controls for storage, such as prohibiting a USB storage device by default. Let's move on to transmission. For physical transmission, use first-class mail, parcel post, or approved mass shipment methods. For digital transmission, use PKI or transport layer security, such as HTTPS. Avoid using wireless phone transmission when more secure options are available. You may email CUI only if your organization's policies allow it. The method of transmission must ensure that the CUI is encrypted both in transit and at rest. When sending CUI via email using approved encryption methods, you must also mark the email to indicate it contains CUI. Let's talk about the minimum markings required when transmitting Controlled Unclassified Information, or CUI, via email. Let's break down the required markings for the email body. Start and end the email with a bold, capitalized CUI banner. This means the first and last lines of the email should simply read CUI. After your signature block, include the CUI designation indicator block. Some agencies, such as the GSA, require that no CUI be placed in the body of the email. In these cases, the CUI must be placed in an encrypted attachment, and the body of the email should not contain any sensitive information. Now let's look at the subject line. The subject line must clearly indicate that the email contains CUI. You can do this by starting the subject with CUI in brackets or CUI followed by a colon. Another acceptable method is to include the phrase "contains CUI" in the subject line. If your email includes attachments containing CUI, those attachments must also properly be marked. Each attachment must include proper markings: a CUI header and footer, a designation indicator block on the first page, and a file name that clearly indicates the document contains CUI. And of course, the attachment must also be encrypted. If the email itself does not contain CUI, but includes a CUI attachment, here's what you'll need to do. The email body must still begin and end with the CUI banner. Include a statement that the email is unclassified once the CUI attachment is removed. In this case, a designation indicator block is not required in the email body. Following these steps ensures that your email communications remain compliant and secure. To ensure compliance, your organization may implement various controls for transmitting CUI. For example, external file sharing, such as through OneDrive or SharePoint, is typically restricted. In that case, you may only share files externally if the request has been reviewed and approved. Your system may also limit copy and paste functions, preventing you from moving CUI into unapproved applications. And if you attempt to send CUI without proper encryption, the system may automatically block the transmission. If you're ever unsure, refer to your organization's internal policies or consult your CUI lead or information owner. Follow your organization's media sanitization and disposal policy for proper CUI destruction. This includes procedures to clear, purge, or destroy digital CUI data from all drives, including local and cloud backups. You may need to submit a request to your compliance officer or open a help desk ticket with your IT department to ensure proper destruction is carried out. For paper documents, use cross-cut shredding or pulverizing methods. If you use a third-party destruction service, make sure to obtain a certificate of destruction. All destroyed CUI must be recorded in a sanitization log. Make sure you understand your organization's process for logging and verifying destruction. Let's talk about flow-down requirements. Any vendors, subcontractors, or other organizations that you pass CUI to are subject to the same handling requirements. This includes other staff members, consultants, or service providers who may be exposed to CUI. There are no exceptions for small businesses. If a vendor or subcontractor does not require access to FCI or CUI to fulfill their role, they may not need to meet CMMC requirements. However, under no circumstances should you remove CUI markings from a document. Only the document creator has the authority to do that. Before working with any vendor that will handle CUI, they must be properly vetted. This ensures that sharing sensitive information with them does not put your organization at risk. It is your organization's responsibility to monitor and oversee vendors to ensure they comply with CMMC requirements. You must also be notified of any security breaches that affect CUI you've shared with them. Let's take a look at types of risks associated with vendors. Compliance risk occurs when a vendor fails to meet standards like CMMC, NIST 800-171, or other required regulations. There is reputational risk if a vendor's poor security practices or unethical behavior could damage your organization's public image. Potential for operational risk exists when a vendor's systems fail or lack proper security that could lead to operational disruptions and impacts on delivery of services or products. Vendors may also present an information security risk if their weak security controls lead to unauthorized access, modification, or loss of CUI. Proper vendor qualification and oversight are essential to maintaining compliance and protecting sensitive information. If you're ever unsure about your responsibilities for handling specific CUI, don't guess. Talk to the information owner for written verification and guidance. They can clarify how to receive, handle, and store material under your contract. In some cases, this responsibility may fall to a CUI lead at your organization who will reach out to the appropriate agencies to confirm requirements. Treat all controlled unclassified information, or CUI, with care. When in doubt, do not send or share it. Remember, every action you take on company systems is logged for compliance and security purposes. Use company systems only for official business. Never attempt to bypass or disable any security features. Protecting CUI is a shared responsibility. Stay informed, stay compliant, and always follow your organization's policies. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has reinforced that understanding and following internal security policies is essential to protecting CUI and maintaining compliance. If your organization needs support in developing or refining these procedures, ICS Data is here to help. Let's protect what matters efficiently and effectively.